Hey guys, it's Ree. I was going to upload this a few hours ago, and I recorded it and everything, but sadly the video is too long, so this might have to be a two-parter video for this chapter, because I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes. But anyway, this is part 2, or chapter 2, of The Family That Slays Together by Aesthetic Acoustic, on Archive of Our Own. And now I will begin. David was not on the hiring committee despite being a senior counselor. Several people had begged him to be, of course, stating his seniority and friendliness that put people at ease, but he just wasn't interested. He liked it better when other people made those decisions. It was like a fun little surprise, seeing who the new staff and new kids were. When he awoke that morning, it was with the knowledge that there would be 3 new kids and 1 new counselor. Eagerly, he jumped out of the bed and quickly got ready. Shaving, dressing, and brushing his hair and teeth only took a few minutes. His room was in a cabin with 3 other bedrooms and a main den and kitchen. There was another cabin just like it next door, one for boys, one for girls. Well, that was how it used to be. At some point, they'd accidentally ended up with more female counselors than male, so the cabins became co-ed and never went back. The door clacked shut behind him as he left the cabin and trotted down the porch steps. The mess hall was a short walk down a dirt path. Beside it was the main building where they held meetings and events. That was his destination. Halfway there, he ran into Jasper. They chatted excitedly about the planned events for the weeks as they walked together. David had always liked Jasper. He was very easy to get along with, downright friendly, in fact. They often hung out together during camp, and many times off-season too. If David ever decided to murder the whole camp, Jasper would totally be last. Maybe the first to spare him the trauma. Nah, fuck it, last. Parents were leaving the main hall when the 2 counselors arrived. They waved to a few cars slowly driving away. Jasper pulled the door open with a smile and gestured for David to go first. "After you, co-counselor." "Why, thank you, co-counselor," David chirped as he entered. Jasper followed along and they shared a laugh. The room was full of kids, with a few adults thrown in here and there. Most parents were good enough to drop their kids off and leave after goodbyes, but some liked to stick around as long as possible, which was a bit annoying since their kids then clung to them rather than trying to participate in starting camp activities. But there wasn't really much they could do, aside from asking them to leave as soon as possible. They navigated the crowd to locate the other counselors. They found Lanisha chatting with Anna and a man about David's age who was wearing bleached white clothes. Those, along with his light complexion and bright blonde hair, made him stand out like a sore thumb. David assumed he was a parent or guardian, or at least a relative to one of the kids, but there weren't any clinging to him. The new counselor, perhaps? He was the right age, after all. They joined the group, and David's suspicions were confirmed. "Hey guys," Lanisha greeted. "This is Daniel, our new co-counselor." "Daniel, this is David and Jasper." David immediately stuck his hand out. "Great to meet you, Daniel. It's always a pleasure to see a new face." Daniel gripped his hand, giving it a firm shake. "Good to meet you too, David. The pleasure is all mine." He shook Jasper's hand next, and they swapped similar pleasantries. "Here." Anna handed David a clipboard with paperwork on it. "Rule of seniority, you have to finish the paperwork." "Aw, dang it," David muttered playfully. "Haha, that's all right. I don't mind at all." "Good." Anna gestured to Daniel. "We'll let you show him to his cabin too, and, since you two happen to be the same build and everything," her smile turned apologetic. "His employment was kind of last minute, and they haven't sent in his uniforms yet." "No problem." David turned to Daniel. "They give us a few new uniforms every year, and I haven't thrown away any of my old ones. They're still in great condition, so you can have my new ones." "Thanks, David," Daniel replied with just as much enthusiasm. "That's so considerate of you." "No problem. I'm sure these guys can take care of things here." "Sure thing." Lanisha nodded and gestured for them to go. Sorry, I have a cold. David led Daniel out and finally noticed that he had a rolling suitcase with him. He dragged it behind them by its long handle. "That was the main hall," David explained as they walked. Beside it is the mess hall, and off that is the storage room. On the other side here is the main bathroom, and the campers all have one bathroom in their cabins. Camper cabins are over there. He pointed over a hill where a circle of 6 cabins centered around a large fire pit. Over here are our cabins. He led him up a slope that forked, leading to 2 different cabins not all too far from the ones right down the hill. Which one would you like to stay in? Daniel hummed, looking between them. Which one are you in? That one. David pointed to the right cabin. Been in it for 5 years. That's impressive. I'll stay in that one. If we're going to be sharing clothes, it would make sense to be as close as possible, don't you think? The way Daniel spoke felt odd, but David couldn't put his finger on why, so he elected to ignore it. That's a great idea. With thinking like that, you're gonna fit right in. Thanks, David. They headed inside, and David walked him to his room, the empty one, right across from his own. Jasper has the room down from yours, and mine is this one right across, David explained as Daniel walked into the room. You've got 2 roommates now, so don't go walking around naked in the hall or anything. He laughed. Daniel chuckled. Right, if I decide to go naked, I'll keep it to one of our rooms. David forced a little laugh. He didn't get the joke. I'll be right back. I keep the keys in my room. We have one for the cabin and one for a room on each ring. He walked to his room, which he never locked during the day, and went straight to his desk. The bottom drawer held several papers and a lockbox. He had a key to it on his keyring. He unlocked it and dug through the small pile of keys inside, looking for one labeled 4A. When he found it, he tossed it on his desk, locked the box, put it away, and stood. He grabbed the keys and spun around, and nearly had a heart attack when Daniel was standing right behind him. Jesus! David yelped and nearly dropped the keys. The blonde laughed. Actually, it's Daniel, remember? Sorry about startling you. Are those my keys? Yes. David quickly handed them over. The squarish one goes to the cabin, and the rounder one goes to your room. It's policy to lock the cabin door at night, so if you go in and out, please always lock it behind you. Most of us just lock our personal doors at night, but you can keep yours locked or unlocked or whatever. Just don't lose your keys. No worries, I've never lost anything in my life. Good to know. He went to his closet next, grabbing his newest shirts, handing them on hangers to Daniel. You can wear whatever pants with these you like, but the shirt is a requirement. You can even wear a vest too, like me. I like the extra pockets. He opened his vest to reveal some pockets inside, in which he usually stored matches or other little things. Ah, wonderful. I think I should like to see you without the vest one day, however. Okay? David wasn't sure what to make of that. I would recommend wearing jeans or khakis and avoiding white since you're just gonna get dirty. No worries, I have other pants in my suitcase. I just wanted to look my best on my first day. Well, you did a great job. Thanks, you look very nice too, David. Aw, thanks. Gosh, you're so nice, Daniel. I can't wait to see what you'll bring to the table. Thanks, David. So tell me, it's just the 3 of us in the cabin, right? So the other 2 are in the other cabin? Yep, David nodded. There used to be a 3rd in the other, but he didn't come back this year. I heard he got a job that's paying for his college. Lucky guy, he was a cute kid. The campers loved him. Another soft chuckle. Well, he certainly wasn't the only cute counselor around here, was he? Not anymore, I guess. David hated how his voice could get that squeaking pitch to it when he was nervous. Daniel was a little odd, but David was trying not to fault him for it. He always did his best to get along with people. He was afraid that if he let himself hate someone, he might slip up, and his bullet wouldn't be sinking into an animal that round. He didn't want to go to prison. Anyway, why don't you go change and get unpacked? I'll work on your paperwork, then when you're ready, we'll join back up with the rest of the gang. Sure thing, David. Can't wait. Daniel gave him another big smile, then exited the room. They left together only 10 minutes later. David still wasn't quite done finalizing the paperwork, but that was fine. There would always be time later, or tomorrow if it came down to it. He didn't mind staying up late to finish. He ran on very little sleep anyway. That outfit looks great on you, Daniel, David chirped. Daniel was no longer wearing the painfully white clothes. The t-shirt fit him perfectly and went well with his dark jeans and brown boots. He looked very, very good. Thank you. You look great in yours, too. Daniel's smile was less of a smile and more of a smirk. David shrugged it off with a quick thanks. I assume we'll be doing a sort of orientation for the first day, correct? Daniel continued. Will I be shadowing you for my training here? Sure, if you want. David gave him a thumbs up. You can totally shadow me for a few days to get used to how we operate, then I'm sure you'll settle in pretty naturally and pick up some duties of your own. Oh, absolutely. I've done this many times. It's a little different in every camp, but overall similar. They arrived at the main hall, and David was pleased to see more parents leaving. Thank goodness. They headed inside and met up with the other three again. There were a few dozen kids, about as many as the cabin would hold, and they were already starting to make friends with each other. And campers returning from previous years found their old friends and happily welcomed in new ones. Despite his unnatural desires when it came to death and people, David actually liked kids quite a bit. They were so genuine, and he liked people who were genuine. Daniel, Jasper greeted. Looking good, man. He gave Daniel a gentle punch in the arm. Daniel flinched just slightly and rubbed his arm. Thank you. I think David here wears it better, though. Jasper's brows drew in slightly, but his smile didn't waver. I'd have to agree. He let out some forced laughter. Aw, you two are too nice. David waved it off. I think we all look great in our uniforms. And I'm going to end it there, guys, so this video doesn't get too long. But don't worry, because I will be finishing this in the next part, and I really hope you enjoy. Love you guys. Bye!